the passport program. Let's get through it and get through to some stories, etc. Where did it start? Why the passport story? Where's it from? How it works, etc. Let's keep it simple. So no member left behind. I started the passport program while I was a lecturer at Curtin University. I was a lecturer in the business school for 12 years in information systems, research stats, and e-commerce, etc. And one of the units I ran and created was a capstone unit that every MBA graduate had to complete, where they managed an $80 million fluorescent company. And I was the evil dictator. I changed currency and I changed magnesium and I had labor, all kind of products stuck on the dot, because, you know, anyone can run a business during boom. So each week of the semester was a year and they had to present an AGM, and we used a passport because they came from marketing, business law, information systems, accounting, management, all of the areas, and they were grouped together, and we used the passport as the stamp, and it was fantastic. I still to this day get email messages of students who met through the passport program, married and now have children, created businesses, etc., some in BNI, etc. So I've just got my, can you believe it? My PowerPoint has stalled. Let me just, typical. Oh, well, I should know it off by heart. So if the video is working, I can talk to you like that anyway. So the stages of the PowerPoint program came through the MBA program, etc. And what I realized in BNI was the biggest gap that we had was losing first-year members. When we track the data, we lose 50% of first-year members. For those of you that don't know, we have a full-time statistician out of Glasgow, Dr. Caroline Irvine. I get the pleasure of working with her consistently, and she measures all of our data. She takes all of the PALMS reports. And so when I saw that this data we were losing, as a business owner, one of the things I wanted to do was keep customers. How do I keep customers? So I looked at how we onboarded. I looked at how I was onboarded as a member. Here's the application, join, sign up, you're ready to go. And then what? Then what? Find out and fear for yourself. Many of us went through that, but we've got to understand that the key message of today, if you walk away from nothing else apart from the fact that the technology didn't work and that it stalled, is that the passport is an engagement tool, not an education tool. Don't use it to educate, use it to engage. And you're engaging the new member with the best people in the chapter. And so when we were face to face, we give them an actual practical application experience. Be a visitor host for a day. Come and learn what it's like to be a registrar, a shepherd, to be a greeter. You know, Terry Atkins talked about the Disney experience. The Disney experience starts in the car park and ends in the car park. That's where BNI starts. Do you have a greeter that's got an umbrella on the day that it's raining? Do you accompany them to the elevator, to the lift? Do you welcome them, show them where to hang their hats, where to put their bag? Register, put your business card in. Here's our welcome file. So understanding that, and then introduce them to the serious roles in the chapter that people can get to know what they do. What does a president do? And here's the other tip. It's not for the new member to reach out. It's for the existing member to contact the new member. When you invite somebody to your house, do you tell them to go wandering and find the toilet on their own? Do you? I don't. Don't you show them that you, hey, this is so-and-so. When you know, as a teacher, I spent 15 years as a high school mathematics teacher. I spent 10 of those years teaching in single-sex girls' education, private. When new students arrive, does the parent come to me and say, hi, Mr. Graber, it's so fantastic. We're bringing Alison here. We've heard about this prestigious college. We're really looking forward to introducing her. She's coming in term 3, week 4. Please introduce her to the girls that know how to do truancy, how to wag school, how to cheat. Or do they say, you know, we're looking to emerge her into a quality of learning and get engaged and meet with good quality? That's what we want our members to do. Our new members. Do you want them to meet with the member that isn't there regularly, doesn't pass referrals, is really not engaged in the chapter? And so those 9 existing points were meant to be weekly. Can you speed it up? Yes. Is it efficient to do so? No. How do you speed up a relationship? Doesn't it take time? Doesn't it take sets of influence, getting to know them? And the point of it is that it's half a one-to-one, it's 30 minutes. It's spend 30 minutes with them to get to know them, to explain what they do. And they're going to ask them questions about their business. They're going to ask you questions about yours. So electing the right people, so choosing the right people is critical. People that are there with high attendance, people that have predominantly renewed or been there for a significant amount of time. The classic example is of what not to do. So number one is don't leave the passport in the passport booklet or the new member booklet. Draw it out. Recognize and celebrate. I'm part of a religion that we try to celebrate as much as we can, anytime possible. Celebrate it. A new member, bring them up. We take photos, we put the member at the front, and we take selfie and screenshots, and we post it and say, this is the chapter behind you, willing to support your journey here, willing to be a part of your process towards success, and being able to encourage them that there's going to be people to support them. You see, when I joined BNI, the knowledge then was, oh, wow, you're our newest member. You're the feature presenter next week. Good luck. We threw them under the bus. We give them 10 weeks to complete the passport. In that time, please do online member success program. Watch and learn. I encourage your very first presentation of a brand new member should be an interview. And if I was brand new, I'd get Captain O'Hara on my left-hand side. I write the questions and I say, Sean, can you please introduce me, read my bio, and then ask me these questions. And then I give 3 questions to Brent, to Lynn, and to Alison to ask me after I finish, because I know those questions because I wrote them, seeding the audience and making sure that I do my passport presentation. And those of you on the call, I know this already, this wasn't planned. If you want to connect with Alison Schatz, she does a VP presentation in Lionsgate, which shows where the members are each week on the passport program. Where is their progress? They are 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 9 out of 10. We alert the members when they're ready for one-to-one, so we don't just go zoom, zoom. We piece it together. Like building your handicap, like presenting your handicap at a golf club, emerging on that onboarding process. This is not my knowledge. Robert Scrobe gave us this. We heard him speak yesterday. In his book, Retention Point, he talks about making sure that we focus on the new member. It's all about them, all about that level of information to make sure that we get it to them. So the passport program, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, it's not a group one-to-one. It's not try and get it finished as quickly as possible. This is a long game. My brother-in-law is an emergency physician. He goes and deals with emergencies when you go through the front of a windscreen. There is no networking emergency. There is no rush for this. Think about the knowledge that we're taking on. They've got to capture BNI mobile app. They're learning Connect. They're learning to get into Business Builder. They're trying to understand what PALMS means. They don't know the difference between a visitor and a guest, a referral and a lead. What is a one-to-one? All of our language, our vernacular, that takes time to immerse yourself to develop that kind of language. And the most thing they're worried about is, what am I going to say in my 1 minute? Where am I going? So effectively, the passport program parallels the power of one, because I can't set your alarm clock and get you out of there, attendance. I can't force you to do learning, chapter education units. You make that choice. I can't schedule you one-to-ones. You're in charge of your calendar. That's 60 points. But I can help you find referrals through Business Builder and doing one-to-ones and learning from other members, 100%. And I can help you think about the kind of visitors you want to build and the kind of visitors you want to bring in that's going to benefit the other members in the chapter, the people in the power team, etc. So the passport parallels what we're doing with the power of one. And it gives the members an introduction into that opportunity to see and develop within that 10 weeks. And what we know subsequently, we've been doing the passport program for probably, maybe I want to say close to 8 years in Australia. We developed in my offices here in Perth, and it's spread from there. And I guess what I want to say from that is the wonderful thing about it is the knowledge we've built on it. So yes, we know that wrapping our new members in cotton wool and making sure that they're protected and looked after in the first 10 weeks is essential. But here's some of our new knowledge. Dr. Caroline Irvine has told us that not only together with the passport, there are two other key factors about a member's retention and a member renewing the following year and the time that we invest. And the first one is that in the first 3 months, they must receive a referral. They must also give a referral. If they don't give or receive a referral in the first 3 months, we are on danger watch. We are on watch carefully. They've got to be involved in the referral action. It's like, do you remember this, everybody? You walk into the museum, don't touch, don't touch, don't touch, don't touch, don't touch. All you want to do is touch. You want to play in the game. You've been told all about this referral stuff and you're not even in it yet. So they need to give and receive a referral. And the second point is, the analysis that you do with elite sportsmen will tell you that the average life of a National Hockey League player is probably around about 1 season, the average. The elite go on to probably play 4.7 seasons in years. The very, very elite do 10 or more, but it's only a small amount of people that get to go to that level. And so what we're trying to achieve in terms of the passport, in terms of onboarding and looking after them, is what is one of those key factors that keeps them coming back, the elite. And here's the golden syrup, the secret sauce. If they sponsor a member into the chapter within their first 3 to 6 months, they will stay for an average of 4.5 years in BNI. And not just stay, their delivery, their growth, and their ability to contribute is exponentially rising. The value of the referrals increase, the depth of the relationship increases. So not only doing the passport program in isolation, but also encouraging that the referrals are received and given, and that they're looking to sponsor a member into their chapter within the first 3 to 6 months. So dispelling a couple of myths, sorry for the latecomers. Hi, brother. Obrigado to Antonio. Great to see you, Barbara. My technology has frozen, and rather than waste my 20 minutes trying to work it out and restart and all that kind of stuff, I think I can speak on the passport quite adequately by just having you look at a picture. But that image is not inconsequential. Leave no member behind. Who wants to lose customers? Who does? We spend so much time acquiring them. We spend so much time finding them as members. We all know the difficulty, especially when you find a driver. And so in thinking about that passport, it's diligently making sure that it's being adhered to. The passport mentor we have in some chapters, depending on size, they have a dedicated passport mentor. That's all they do, but they're not one of the 10 because they're the coordinator. They need to swap people in and out. Can they sub in and out? Of course. The other part that we have is a DC can go in and play any of those 10 roles. So say, for example, Mark goes down with the flu and is out for 2 weeks and we've got 4 new members. Sean O'Hara subs in and takes Mark's role because there's a DC or the ambassador covers it. So the routine and the cadence doesn't stop. That we learnt from Vern Harnish. Keep that rate, that rhythm, that routine continually going because that's the pathway to excellence. We all didn't grow up yesterday morning and get up in the morning and say, oh, I'm suddenly in love with my business. It takes time, and developing the love for the chapter takes time because you're building relationships. It's our core value, you know, lifelong relationships. And the ability to do that begins with the passport system. And we know that it engages members. It engages members. See, the crux of the material comes from this. If you were in a chapter that has 20 members, 20, I know it's unheard of, but there are some, 20 members, your chapter spends 80% recruiting and 20% developing relationships. It's the wrong way around. If you're in a chapter of 50, You spend 20% recruiting and 80% developing relationships. Which do you think is going to give you the better return on investment and bang for your buck? So growing and retaining is key. If you're noticing the cycle, this is not rocket science. If you notice the cycle that in January at 24 and in June you're at 24, you've got an open door policy. They come and they go. Are you doing the exit interviews? Are you asking them, or have we done the wrong interview to begin with? So the passport program engages them. It makes sure they learn the information in the correct and formidable way. We do it through a multiple of learning disciplines, through interaction, through one-to-ones, through MSP, through learning the technology, etc. And how am I going for time, Jim?
You have about you've got some time. It's 22 after, we go until 35 after.
Okay, so cool. At this stage here, before I go into some more depth case studies of the passport and some further developments, you know, obviously it's been translated into 70 different, well, it's in 70 countries. It's a global phenomena. I want to dispel the myth, all of you, that I am sitting on a yacht with satellite TV, eating and drinking to the benefits of the passport program. The amount of money that I've made from the passport program is a number lower than one. Okay, it is a giver's gain philosophy to engage members to make sure that their journey and that they're looked after, because nobody wants to be abandoned. I had on my deck today, I was going to show you Abraham Maslow, one of my absolute heroes, the New Yorker famous psychologist and behaviorist, etc., and talking about his hierarchy of needs and where the passport fits into the actual scientific ethnographic studies that we have, the empirical evidence of wanting people to belong. We're humans. We belong with other people. That's why this COVID environment is so different to us, because we're not meant to be locked away and not dealing with human emotions. Think about the intel that we miss by not meeting face to face. And all of those subliminal interactions that we have, the passport is about engaging people towards understanding what we do in BNI, making sure that we get you on the right journey, on the right path. Questions, have we got any? Hi, Jeffrey, good to see you, Mr. Shaw.
Hey, Mark, I have a question. I'm wondering about how you adapt the passport. What are the top 3 learnings from being in lockdown for the past year? Because some of these were very, in person and making it really an experiential. How have you pivoted that to online? What are some suggestions you could make? Okay,
so great question. First of all, awesome question. Number one is, so it's engagement. The first thing I would do is invite them at some stage to come on early and be part of what we call the visitor host team. Sean O'Hara would have talked about, having the waiting room, letting them be the lead in the waiting room. So they've got the list of the visitors. They can introduce the visitors as they come into the waiting room. Small pieces here. We don't feed by fire hose, so they could take a part in doing that in the visitor host room. And then it would be working with them to set up Zoom meetings, essentially with the people on the passport, and working to fit into their calendar, etc., as to how that would work. We have seen in some areas across Canada where one-to-ones are allowed if you're sitting outside, right? So what we've encouraged, my apartment's in Kitsilano, right? I'm not there now, but what I would encourage is, you could bring a chair and a mug and some water and sit in a park. You can do that. Barbara Lowe, can do one-to-ones while you're riding a bike, paddling a kayak. Ultimately walking one-to-ones, the breadth of creating and thinking outside the box is endless, but within the virtual environment, unfortunately, we're locked in this. However, what you can't have when you're sitting in a kayak is, I can't show you my top 10 favorite websites. I can't tell you who's been looking at my Facebook account. I can't tell you where to dive into my LinkedIn. I can't show you my second-degree connections. I can't show you some of my spreadsheets or thought patterns that I'm thinking about. I can't show you the CRM that I keep on every member and their gains profile. I can't show you my top 10, how I fill out my bio. All of that you can't do. Can you transfer knowledge quicker? Yes, so take advantage of it while you can, and then you can build on the personality, other aspects, because when I go for Alison Schatz for a one-to-one, she doesn't want to go to In-N-Out Burgers and for me to buy her a patty and fries and thick shakes and Coca-Colas because she'll throw it back at me, right? So I've got to know that she wants Subway and she wants a salad and all of that fancy couscous and kale and all of that kind of things. And you know, I've got to know that the relationship develops when I'm doing that. And that happens through the passport because they get to know good people and they understand the routine of it. Great question. Hope that helps.
I really like you hitting the note on the head there about 80% and 20% and then how it reverses. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, people say to me, you know, I want to work smart. I always want to work smart. I always want to put, you know, like we talked about, network up. I always want to network up. I want to find people that know more, have got more connections. That's where I find drivers, network up, and use the acronyms of BTW. By the way, do you know a great architect? By the way, do you know a great migration, immigration lawyer? By the way, go for something diametrically opposite, by the way. And if they're great ravers and end users, you know, and that's part of the passport program. When you've got the time with them, I'm sure many of you are going to be mentors. Show them the little ray of sunshine. Show them how to talk about their target market. Teach them in BNI that you're not looking for referrals. You're looking for referral partners. That's the magic. Anyone can go and get referrals. I can go and walk down a high street with, you know, cupcakes with my business card, stick them in and knock on every door. I'm going to get success rates. But how long am I going to enjoy that for? I want referral partners. They're going to feed me year on, year out. Depression happening, recessions around me. I want that consistent walking through the door opportunity. And I'm prepared to invest in it. BNI is not a get-rich-quick system. BNI teaches you how to use your time to create money and how to invest in it. Every minute in BNI is spent on the business, not in the business. We have the rules. People complain to me, oh, there's so many rules in BNI. Yeah, of course there are rules in BNI, but it's understanding why the rules exist. It's why we have red lights and traffic lights. It's why we manage the road system, because there'd be anarchy and death and etc. So we've got to have the rules. In BNI, to my members, I am the MBA umpire. They're the all-stars. They're the ones that get the sponsorships. They're the ones that get the big deals. They're the ones that get the media. I'm a servant leader. My role is to create the platform and administer. And that's why everybody pays the same price, because that's the rules, because we change the way the world does business. And so for me, bringing people through the passport and understanding the right way that we do BNI, and I'm not going to say the wrong way, but I'm going to say the not so right way, and where they treat BNI as mutually exclusive. And they go, oh, you know, I've got great clients from BNI. I've done this. They don't realize that BNI actually generates 30% of their business. BNI is their greatest client, and being a part of it. And I'll leave you with this. The worst experience I have is when a BNI member says to me that I'm leaving and they say these two words: for I am too what? Busy. And I say, did you join BNI to get quiet? I don't want to lose members like that. I don't want them to get too busy. I want them to stay. We've all experienced it. And so my answer there is, how come you didn't engage the business coach? Where's the recruitment person? Where's the person doing your social media? Where's your gifts person? Where's your virtual assistant? When I started BNI as an executive director 16 years ago, I've got a full-time virtual assistant. By the way, his name is Lord. True story. Oh my Lord, I love him. He is with me 40 hours a week. He follows me. I didn't know that 10 years ago. That's the same story as Jobs. Jobs skipped the classes, went to the typographical font class, got the system for the first Macintoshes. He didn't know that then. But we move through, we understand, and that process is what we understand about being a great BNI member. Those of you that have been BNI for 5 years or more, your offering when you first started must be way different to what it is now. Way different. Look at the nodding heads, way different. Because you understand, some of you have got extremely elevated strategies for elevator pitches. You know what to say, when to stop, when to begin. You know how to gauge an audience, etc. My dear friend Jeffrey, you've got a question for me.
Well, I did. I put it in the chat, but what I wanted to know, Mark, is how do we? And I hate to use the word spread out, but how do we spread out the trainings because of what we're tending to find is with with the member success program, the mentoring emails, the passport, and also on BNI Connect. When you have a new person, how do we not have them feeling overwhelmed too much and trying to do all of this?
Absolutely, great question. So the key for that 10 weeks is the opportunity to drip feed. That they've got the opportunity. There's no reason why the MSP, the Member Success Program, shouldn't be completed within the first 10 weeks of the program. Will learning the mobile app intensely happen over 10 weeks? No, unless someone sits down with them and shows them how to use the referral tracking. In my regions, and not just because he's on the call, because I've been working with him for 10 years, is I use reporting to you. Some of the members, that is not something I would necessarily teach in the first 10 weeks. They're going to see that come in terms of a document. So I think about, sorry to go back to the old, being a maths teacher, hard to teach calculus without knowing algebra, without knowing your multiplication. Yeah. So let's begin with just what's primary. Let's start with the power of one. You see, for me as well, I think some chapters go to power teams before they've got contact spheres right. Let's fill the contact spheres first before we go to power teams. It's an advanced learning. It takes time to generate. Putting that onto a brand new member to go and find your power team within the first week doesn't happen. So I think that we want to make sure that there is no networking emergency. The key here is people will always remember how you make them feel, not what you tell them. It's okay. You don't have to learn it all. I'll show you. You're not sure how to fill out your bio? Come and have a look. I'll show you how to do it. Hope that helps. Antonio, my friend, you got a question for me?
Just one question, Mark. I would like to know what is the biggest challenge that you found in new countries implementing the passport? Because I want to start implementing here in Portugal, and I need your advice.
I think I said it in the beginning that I think the main point to bring across is that it is an engagement tool, not an education tool. There's enough education out in BNI. This is to encourage engagement. So it's kind of like those of you who remember going to the school social and you had to play snowball on the ice and start off with 2 people holding hands and another 2 people holding hands and the music change. It's an introduction. It's getting them to know people, especially if you're bringing in somebody brand new or somebody who might be a situational extrovert and they're not, they don't know how to encourage it. That's why we make sure that it's engagement. That's why we reach out, because we want to move away from the 80% of time spent recruiting in small chapters to 20% relationship building, to flip it and build it so that the opportunity to recruit is far easier with a greater number. And so for me, the key concept is that it's engagement. Get to meet the right people rather than trying to teach them. It's not a big stick item. It's not, you must complete the passport program. No, it's you've got the time. We encourage 10 weeks. If life comes across your door during that 10 weeks, are we going to understand? Of course. If baby number 3 arrives unexpectedly and you have to pause the passport program, that's what we are. We understand that. But we want to make sure that we monitor it. And so again, as I reiterated, if you want to reach out to Alison Schatz, she's got a great deck on presenting the passport program and where members are up to during the meeting so that we encourage it. And then all our members see the process that we're doing. So we breed that culture continually through it. I hope that answers it, Antonio.
Thank you so much, Mark. That was awesome. And everybody, let's thank Mark for his insights into the passport program.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks
You're
so
in
much,
for a
Mark.
treat. You're in for a treat. You've got Mike coming up now. So
that's right. So we're going to start in about 4.5 minutes. So if anybody needs to leave for a moment for a bio break, anything like that, thanks again, Mark, for your time this afternoon.
My pleasure.